Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Manali. Um, uh, okay, I'm a partner of this team called Global Vision, and today we're gonna share a very good topic which I have a lot of passion about. It's on the healthy eating of kids. I have been talking about. I have been sharing and giving workshops on healthy eating for the past 2 or 3 years, and actually when I go trace back to why the adults have different habits of eating. It always goes back to their childhood, how they were raised when they were kids. And so because Gemina invited me to talk about this, and so let's talk about how we can help the kids grow smart and grow tall and healthy with proper eating habits. So today is the first topic of all. It's Eating Habits 101. So a little bit introduction of myself. I am actually I actually spent a lot of time in Canada when I was in college, and so I pretty much know about quite a bit of the eating habits in the North America and also in Hong Kong now. I am a mother of two. I have two children. The older one is now 13. She's officially a teenager, a troubled teenager. And my little one is now 10 years old, and it's a boy, one boy and one girl. And I'm very blessed to have them in my life because they really train me up to be a very patient person. So when it comes to healthy eating, it's really about the balance of the diet. So how can we find the right balance for the kids? It's the biggest topic of all parents in terms of whether they like the food or whether it's good for them and whether they have the right amount of nutrition for growing up. But a lot of kids, they love to have carbohydrates when they grow up, and my son, he will always go for a lot of macaroni and spaghetti and stuff, but it's not the proper way. And actually even parents, when we were brought up, many parents will tell us to eat like two big bowls of rice and eat the rice before you eat the main dish and stuff, but that's not really the proper the guideline. It's the guideline from the health department in Hong Kong, and actually quite a bit back in the States as well. As you can see from the PowerPoint, um, this goes back to the food pyramid that we were brought up with. On the bottom one, we have a lot of bread and cereal and stuff just to fill us up. And we're probably very familiar with this pyramid. But that is a very outdated pyramid, which traces back to back when the war was over. The World War II was over, and we have a shortage of food, and the government came out with this pyramid to give us a guideline for the people so that they can be full while having a bit of balance of food. But as time goes by, we find that uh, the Americans have not grown slimmer or healthier. They've actually grown more obese, and many problems with the health came up. So we actually back in late 90s, they started to realize this problem, and they have come up with a newer eating pyramid, and that's called the Harvard School of Public Health. They came up with this pyramids, and you can see at the bottom one, it is replaced by exercise and daily habits, and then the grains, the bottom part, the carbohydrates, is replaced by whole grains and healthier oils and fish and poultry, etc. So this is actually the more and the better way for healthy eating. And for the kids, this is even better for a balance for them, to strike a right balance for each meal. We as parents also try to give them as much fruits and vegetables as possible. And in terms of oils, this is something I would like to highlight on oils. Um, we thought that healthy oils like vegetable oils are healthy, but in fact, many of the vegetable oils are just omega-6 oils, and omega-6 oils can cause quite a bit of inflammation to the body. So it doesn't mean that if it's vegetable oil, it's safe. So the best oils is actually omega-3 oils, which is not so common in our diets, and that's where we need to pay more focus on, pay more attention on. And the big no-no is the hydrogenated fats, or what we call trans fats. And these will really damage our body, especially for kids. These are commonly found in processed food like chips and biscuits and butters and a lot of deep fried stuff. Hydrogenated fats. This is very cheap to make and easy to maintain for the industrial process, but these will kind of cause a lot of load to the small kids' body, especially for their liver and for their kidneys. So this is something that really should avoid in their diets. The best diet comes with a lot of variety in terms of fruits and vegetables. The more colors, the better, and more whole grains and good protein in terms of white meats like chicken and fish, and also eggs and tofu. So we're going to talk about a bit more about that balance when we go on. And what makes kids picky eaters? I think all parents would find it hard to make their kids eat the things we want them to eat. Even though we know that these are good for them, we try to brag and brag on for them to eat, while we ourselves have a bag of chips or hidden snacks, junk food, behind their backs. We thought they don't know, but actually the kids, they are very smart and they know what we're eating and they will follow what we eat. So the first reason why they become picky eaters is because parents are also picky eaters. They inherit this bad habits from parents. And the other reason could be psychological stress. And this is sometimes quite ignored by or forgotten or neglected by parents. It's because kids, they do have stress in terms of coming from the family, from schools, or from peer pressure. So if you find that the kids, they eat a lot of junk food, you might want to watch out for their daily lives, whether they have pressure from the school, especially in Asia side, they have so much homework. They sometimes really find their way out by eating junk food. And also because the digestive system of the kids, maybe they're not so well developed, so they will tend to eat less chunkier foods, so that it's more comfortable for them. And also, they sometimes the kids, they crave for different things like chocolate or sweets, or even soda like Coca-Cola or the soda water. That's because they are lacking certain nutrients in their diets. So this is something that we need to watch for. That's why sometimes we're also born like this. Sometimes our body cannot make as much um, uh, nutrients as other kids. So this could be a born problem. So we might need to watch out for whether they have a balance of nutrients in their diets, and if needed, we might need to consider supplementing them with nutrition. So let's go to how we can help them with better memory, focus, and less mood swings. The number one meal that's most important in a kid's daily life is their breakfast. We need to give them the biggest meal in the breakfast time. I know many parents, because they rush off, that they only have like 5 minutes for a meal and etc. But we really need to focus on giving them a good breakfast, because this is where all the power of the day comes from. And so we'd rather maybe wake them up a bit more earlier, say like 15 minutes earlier, and to give them time to chew and absorb the nutrition that they need during breakfast time. So for breakfast, we should give them a balance of fruits, not fruit juice, but fruits, proteins, and grains. And the more natural the foods, the better. So stay away from processed foods and like hams or sausages. So the number 3 item is water. So number 1 thing that the kids should get in the morning is enough water. And also throughout the day, they will forget about having water. So as parents, we need to remind them to get enough water. And we also should watch out whether they are having enough water at school as well. That could be, you can observe during the day, like how much water they're having, and during the weekend. And that, I mean, by water, I mean plain water, not juices, not milk, but plain water. Because really wash out their toxin from the body is water. The other thing we might want to note about is the 3 less, what we call 3 less. It's like simple carbs. Simple carbs is in rye, white bread, and cornflakes. This will give them a swing of moods if they have too many simple carbs in their diets. And also additives and MSG and strong tasting foods is something to avoid. And also we might want to help them stay away from drinks with caffeine. In case you observe that your kids tend to be hyper or stressed or anxious, you might really want to watch out whether they have caffeine in their food or drinks, special chocolates or Coca-Cola, etc. Sometimes it's hidden. The 5th item that you want to watch out is to have them have enough of these. I'm not going to read out the whole list because I'm sure that you parents can watch out whether they have nutrition, and if needed, we really do need to supplement them. So it's really not what they eat that's more important. What's more important to build up their brain power and their ability to focus is really to avoid what to avoid. What to avoid is more important than what to eat when it comes to growing up. Does that make sense? So these are some of the poor breakfast choices. I have seen so many times in fast food shops in Hong Kong that parents, they eat this instant noodles with very heavy tasting like sausages and stuff, and the kids are also having the same thing. And they actually offer the kids to eat instant noodles in the breakfast time, which is so bad. I really wouldn't want to stop them, but there's something that really should be aware of. Try to stay away from processed food for the kids because it takes them too much energy to process these processed food in their kidneys and liver. And in the long run, kids, they now have diabetes and they have heart diseases so early in their life. In our old days, like people get diabetic or heart disease only in their 50s or 60s. But now we have seen kids that have diabetes like in their early 20s and 30s. And that's really because of the habits they grow up with. And breakfast is the most important meal. So please try to help your kids stay with like this colorful cereal in the morning, and chang pan and siu mai in the morning for breakfast. And also sausages and actually fruit juices is not a good choice for the kids because they really need to chew. The chewing of fruits and foods help them develop their muscles in the mouth. Even back in when they were 1 year old, you should really try to get them to eat chunkier foods so they can develop their muscles in the mouth. This will not only benefit their eating or chewing, but they will also benefit their ability to speak more fluently. So please help them eat more chunkier and less processed foods. And as parents, something that we should learn about is to read labels. We're very blessed to have this thing called food labels in our lives for food, regulated by the health department. Um, for example, this is very commonly taken yogurt brand, even in Hong Kong. And this cup is 75 grams. This cup is 150 grams, and just half a cup already contains 19 grams of sugar. 19 grams, what does it mean by 19 grams? It's 4 packs of sugar, four small packs of sugar. And that's so much sugar um, for the kids to bear. Every day, even for adults, the maximum limit for sugar intake is 25 grams. And just this half cup already blows up your sugar intake for the day. So there's something to really watch out for is the sugar content. This is a good choice of yogurt. Yogurt gives you good non-meat protein, so yogurt is a good choice for protein. But what really need to watch out for is the sugar content, because there's so much hidden sugar in yogurt that the kids love yogurt because it's so sweet. It's like a dessert for them. So what parents should do is really try to give them wise choices. And energy bars. Kids, they tend to have to rush to school and don't have time for breakfast, and sometimes we give them simple on-the-go snacks as breakfast. This Alpen is a popular brand, and also the Nature Valley, which I dug out last night. Just 100 grams of it already contains 25 grams of sugar, and that has already blown up your daily intake limits for sugar. The problem with sugar is it gives you a lot of mood swings, and you get energy right away, but also get very tired very soon. So and also it's not good for their temper. If you find that the kids, they have problem focusing, or they have problem with controlling the temper, you really might want to watch out or limit their sugar intake. The less sugar, the less refined sugar they have in their diet, the more steady their mood you will find in their, and also help with their focus as well. So the other thing that we need to avoid is the processed meat. As research tells us, a child who eats more than 12 hot dogs, sausages a month will have leukemia 9 times more than regular children. So it's a very high alarming no for parents. Even hams is not good as well. Obesity is not only popular among adults, even for kids now, it's a global issue. They tend to be stay indoors a lot of times. They start with their electronic devices, they watch TV, and they eat takeouts like the parents do. And even worse for China or countries with less children, because they only have one child and they want to give them everything that the child wants, and this is not doing them good. So as parents that are educated, we can help our children grow healthier with better choices. Some of the choices is fruits. The more colors the fruits have, the better, and try to skip juices. Proteins, you can choose from plant-based protein. We also can choose from meat protein. Some nuts are also given good protein as well, and beans like red kidney beans and soybeans. Also broccoli, they give good plant-based protein as well. And eggs and yogurt and salmon, fish and chicken are also good sources of protein that we should give them a good balance of. Because protein is so important for the kids, you will find that the kids will focus better at school if they were given proteins in the morning for breakfast. So like my child, my kids, they will have eggs and cheese together along with apples. in the morning for breakfast with brown bread, and sometimes they have macaroni for breakfast. So this is the fuel for them to build up their memory. So some suggestions. I love making food, so I love making simple food. So some of the brekkie suggestions are wraps with banana and peanut butter. For peanut butter, try to choose the ones with no hydrogenated fats. And for yogurts or Greek yogurt, and my son is on the top right corner. He was like 3 years old in this picture, and he's having 2 eggs whites in the morning, and he will know he will skip 1 egg white and 1 egg yolk, and that's why he's growing so muscular. Now he's 10 years old, and he's really muscular. And I also like to try out different combinations. Like Nu Skin, we have this product called Trim Shake, and I'll mix egg whites with Trim Shake and make a waffle donuts with the Trim Shake, which is actually quite yummy and very low in fat content as well. So for Chinese, we like to have hot breakfast. So on the left corner is millets, congee, 小米粥, millets as congee, and we also have soybean milk and wraps with cucumbers. I'm so blessed my children love different kinds of vegetables because I forced them to eat when they were small, and now they have grown to be able to pick their own veggies during the meal. So they're okay with cucumber. So it is a wrap with a cucumber and egg and brown rice wrap, and vermicelli and such etc. So we do have a lot of choices in terms of giving them a good protein, a balance between protein and carbohydrates in the morning. And as I said before, sometimes the nutrition deficiency in the bodies are not because they really want to be picky eaters, but sometimes because the diet is really not so balanced, or you can't control what they eat at school, and sometimes even their bodies, they cannot make the nutrition that they really need for an all-round growth. So I still recommend taking supplements for my kids. So my daughter has been taking these little jungle moles. She will pick the taste she wants, and this will help them grow better bones, and then better immunity. And you will find that you will thank yourself for giving them the supplement, because my daughter now she's 13 years old. All through her 10 years of school life, the maximum of sick days she has is like two days per year. Now she only has 1 or half a day per year as a sick leave, and they tend to have a healthier, stronger bones and teeth. They don't have any bad teeth, and I'm so blessed with that too. And the other thing that can help them is the marine omega, because as I said before, we tend to have overdose of omega-6 in our diets. Too many foods in our daily diets contain omega-3, omega-6, and we really need a balance between omega-3 and omega-6 to balance our body so that it won't go inflammatory. So some good sources of omega-3 would be fish oil, in terms of deep sea oil, and also flax seed oil. And the easiest way to consume enough omega-3 and EPA and DHA, which is good for their brain development, would be the marine omega. So I really highly recommend them, that the kids to eat them, to take this. My kids, they have very good skin, and also thanks to this one. And in order for the child to be able to absorb enough nutrition, you really need to help them with the digestion. There are too many bacteria and germs around, especially when the kids have gone to school. So this probiotics is something I really highly recommend. This will give them a good, healthy environment in their digestive system. So it helps them fight off germs. My kids have never contracted hand-mouth, 手足口病, hand-foot-mouth disease. Probably because they have been, I have tried them to build up the immune system since they were very, very small. And also, the latest research found that if they have good system, good digestive system health, it will help them with their mental health as well. So they will have steadier moods and stress. The stress level will be lower, and this is probably because of the probiotics that they have in their diets as well. So the last thing that I want to share would be this juice, this very, very special juice that Nu Skin makes. It helps them to fight off diseases like flus or colds very quickly. So if you find that your child is having probably a sore throat, this is a juice that you probably want to give them extra on top of their daily intake, because it will really help them fight off the disease that they're having. And also it helps with their eye health. I have cases like I have a friend whose son had these lazy eye problem, and she has given her child with these G3 juice for continuous of 2 months or 3 months, and she found that her son doesn't need to have these lazy eye glasses anymore. So it's just 3 months time, and her son's problem is already reverted by this juice. So I think we're really a good juice for the eye health as well. So it also, I think in the next week, we're going to share more on helping them grow better immunity, and this is, or even grow stronger and grow healthier, bulkier. Some kids are too skinny, and we can talk more on this one, how it can help the kids grow stronger. So that's all I have for today. And any questions that you might have, you can raise them now. And it's just 30 minutes. I'm happy. Đại家有冇問題啊? Let me take a picture of our meeting, because I'm not actually using a friend's office for now. Any questions? I can't hear it, Gemini. 有冇問題啊, Gemini 老師? If not, then I can call it an end, and we can also raise questions offline. You can WhatsApp me or WhatsApp us for any questions you may have. So I'll say bye-bye, good morning and good night. Bye-bye.